So guys, what's going on? I hope you guys are well. So guys, you probably got the news that Manny Pacquiao has said that he's going to be announcing his opponent. He's going to be announcing who's he going to fight. And he said this via his Twitter, that he is going to announce who he's going to be getting in the ring with. What do you guys make of this news? Who do you think he's going to be fighting? There's 5 names that are coming to mind, but 2 of them I don't think are possible. Spence, Crawford, the obvious ones. They're both, seen as both the best welterweights out there. Then I feel there's Mikey Garcia, there's Ryan Garcia, and then there's Amir Khan as well. I feel that these 5 are, in my opinion, I think he could fight any one of them. But I don't think the Spence and Crawford fight is going to happen. I don't see it. I think if those fights were going to take place, I feel we already heard something by now. I don't think Manny Pacquiao is going to fight Spencer Crawford, especially now that he's not champion. What for? He's not. I don't see him, fighting Crawford or Spence. Maybe down the line, yes. But right now, no, with the current situation in America. I know there's certain places in America where, there can be crowds, as we've seen, but I don't think the fight's gonna be big right now where they're gonna be able to generate enough money for that fight. I don't see those fights happening with Spencer Crawford. I'm just gonna be honest with you. So that leaves Mikey, Ryan, and Amir Khan. Mikey's currently a heavyweight, so he's gonna have to lose weight because he's currently, I've seen his pictures and he looks like a heavyweight right now. So he's gonna have to lose a lot of weight. Right, he's been enjoying himself, time off. He's put on a few pounds. Right, Ryan Garcia has obviously been somebody that, has been linked with Manny Pacquiao for for a couple of weeks, a month now. That people are talking about him fighting him, but now that fight's kind of off the table because Golden Boy and Eddie Reynoso, who's his trainer, Ryan Garcia's trainer, has come out and said, we don't want that fight for Ryan Garcia. I prefer the Gervonta Davis fight. So that seems like it's off the table. Just today, I had a message from one of my subscribers. Was it on Insta or YouTube? I think it might have been on YouTube. And he said that, did you see the interview that Amir Khan did with Eli Setback? He said that Amir Khan was saying that there's a lot of money in Qatar. And we know that Amir Khan got paid a lot of money to fight Billy Dib in Saudi Arabia. And he said, Amir Khan was saying that the fight could happen and the money's there for Manny Pacquiao. Millions are there for Manny Pacquiao if he wants to fight me in Qatar. This is what he said. Now, I haven't seen that interview. Well, I'd advise you guys to go and see that interview with Amir Khan. But I said to him that we've heard this so many times before with Amir Khan and Manny Pacquiao about them, and it never comes to fruition, right? Right now, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be shocked if he does fight Amir Khan next. I'm not sure everyone's going to be happy with it, but I don't think Manny's champion anymore. It doesn't matter who he fights. He can fight whoever. The Mikey Garcia fight is a fight that, to be honest, I'm not really looking forward to that fight. I just don't think it's that big a fight. And if they were to fight in America, I don't think Manny gets paid what he wants to be paid for a fight. Like, I don't think Mikey Garcia, Manny Pacquiao, is it such a big sell in America? I don't think it is, if I'm totally honest with you. I don't think stylistically that fight gets me too excited either. If Manny's going to fight Mikey, then just fight Crawford or Spence. I'd prefer that. Or I'd even prefer him fight Ryan, to be honest with you. The Ryan Garcia fight would be an exciting fight and a fight that a lot of people would be up for. A lot of people would get excited about. But from what his camp has been saying, that fight's not happening. That fight's not happening. And if I'm honest with you, I can't see the Spence and Crawford fight happening. Right? Unless Manny comes out and fights Ugas, which, that's for me, that's impossible just because of the fact Ugas isn't a big name and that fight doesn't draw enough money for Pacquiao. I don't think the Spence and Crawford fight are going to happen next. I just don't see it. Maybe I might be proven wrong. Maybe he fights Crawford. I don't see it. This is a guy that was a world champion. Why is he going to want to fight Terence Crawford for the WBO where he was just a WBA world champion? Fair enough, if it was a unification fight, I can understand it. If he's going to fight one of Spence or Crawford, I think he'll fight Spence. Firstly, I think stylistically he looks at Spence as an easier fight, even though I think it's a more dangerous fight. And Spence is also a unified champion. So it would make more sense for Manny to fight Spence than Crawford. But like I said, I don't think either of those fights are going to happen. I don't think either of those fights are going to take place. I just don't get the feel. You get a feeling when you know a fight's going to be made. I don't think Spence or Crawford's going to happen next. It's not. So really, only really leaves those names, Garcia, Khan, and Mikey, because I think they're the only names that will generate outside title fights that would generate Manny Pacquiao the money that he wants. And the fight between Mikey and Manny, I don't think that's a big fight in America, right? And if he's gonna fight Mikey Garcia over in the Middle East, is that a bigger fight than the Khan fight in the Middle East? Bearing in mind Khan's a Muslim and he's a bigger name than Mikey globally and a bigger name than Mikey in the Middle East. That's without question, right? Is that, and it's probably maybe at this stage in Amir's career, it's probably Amir Khan's an easier fight right now. Even though I think stylistically, it's Manny and Khan will be a very exciting fight because Manny would be fighting someone just as fast, if not faster than him, for the first time. So it'd be good to see how he gets. Even though Amir is not as fast as he used to be, you know, he's not as quick as he used to be. He hasn't got the same speed, foot speed or hand speed that he once had, but still relatively fast. I just don't like that Mikey Garcia fight stylistically. I think it's a bore. I don't really like that fight personally. I won't be that excited for it, but I'd watch it of course because it's Pacquiao. But yeah, I think it's a bit of a bore. But then you guys might feel the same way about Khan. But I get the feeling that those three, Khan, Garcia, and Mikey Garcia, Ryan Garcia, Mikey Garcia, and Amir Khan, I think are the front. I think he's going to be one of those three. I wouldn't be surprised if either one. I'll be very surprised. I'll be shocked if he fights Spence or Crawford next. To be honest, I think if he's gonna, I think I wouldn't be upset if he fights Spence or Crawford because they're world champions. They're seen as the number 1 and 2. That would be a brave move by Manny at this point in his career. The other reason why I don't think it's going to be them two, Manny hasn't fought for so long. He hasn't fought for how long? Do you really think he's going to come back and jump in straight with Terence or Spence right away? I don't see it, man. I can't see it. I don't see it, man. I don't see him fighting them two. I'm just being totally honest. I would love to see it, and I would be excited for those fights, but I don't see it. I just don't get the vibe. I just don't think Manny Pacquiao is going to come out after almost over 1.5 years and decide to fight Spence and Crawford on his comeback fight. Nah, man. I don't see that. I don't see that, man. So for me, it's out of those three. For me, it's Garcia, Mikey Garcia. And again, Mikey's going to have to lose a lot of weight because he is heavy. But again, financially, is that fight that big? I don't know. Maybe you guys know. I don't know. Where's that fight going to happen? Ryan Garcia would be big. It would be big. Even in America, that could be huge. Because Ryan Garcia is developing into quite a big name. Although the credibility will be questioned because Ryan Garcia has never been a world champion before. He's young, he's fresh, but he's never been a world champion. In his last fight, he got knocked down by Luke Campbell, who, again, has never been world champion. So the credibility will be questioned. And the fact is that Ryan Garcia's training team and promoter have said that he's not gonna fight Manny Pacquiao. They've declined the fight. So Ryan Garcia is not gonna be fighting Manny Pacquiao according to them because they don't want the fight for him. They don't want that fight because they know that's a crazy move. That's a crazy move. That Ryan Garcia's team know it's a crazy move. So for me personally, honestly, if I'm shooting in the air, Even though I think a lot of people would be surprised. I think with Mikey, people wouldn't be surprised if he fights Mikey, because we've been heard about him fighting Mikey, and Mikey's been talking about a fight with Manny Pacquiao. Mikey Garcia, I think, has been talking about a fight with Manny Pacquiao. So it wouldn't shock me really if that fight comes off. It's just, I'm just thinking about the financial side of things. Is that fight big enough to pay both guys what they want and pay Manny what he wants? Is that fight financially bigger than the Khan fight in the Middle East? I don't think it is. According to reports, when Khan fought Billy Dib in Saudi Arabia, he got paid $7 million to fight Billy Dib. What would they be willing to pay, right, Manny Pacquiao and Amir Khan, if he was to fight Manny Pacquiao? What would they be willing to pay both? I think a lot of money, because that would be quite a big event over there in the Middle East. That'd be a huge event, right? If they were able to get a crowd, they could pack out quite a big arena. That would be a huge event. Again, I don't know. I'm just shooting darts in the air. I don't know. I'm just going off what someone told me today, that apparently that Amir Khan said that in his interview. But like I said prior, we've heard that many times before, and I don't really want to hold my breath. But before, we never had a fight in the Middle East. When he said it before, back then, when he said that the fight could happen, we never had a fight there. So it was kind of like, nah, it's not going to happen. Whereas now he's fought there once, and we know he got paid good money, and we know there's been other fights there, so we know the money's there. We know there's a lot of money in those parts of the world. It just, like I said, I don't know. I don't know what Manny Pacquiao is going to decide. Maybe it'll be somebody that I'm not even talking about, somebody random. I don't think so. I think it'll be out of the 5 names that I mentioned. But again, I don't think it's going to be Spencer Crawford. I do think it's going to be out of the 3 names. And I think it does come down to probably Mikey and Amir Khan. I think it's going to be one of them two. Personally, I think anyway. I wouldn't be shocked if it's either. Now, I might be completely wrong, and I'll hold my hands up if I'm wrong, but I personally think, I don't know what you guys are hearing in the Philippines. I don't know. I'm just thinking, who could it be? Because I just don't see it being Spencer Crawford. It's definitely not going to be them. But again, we just have to wait and see what Manny Pacquiao decides to do. He's not champion anymore, so he's not got no obligations. It's not like he has to fight somebody, he can fight whoever he wants. Some people are saying it may be Conor McGregor. After Conor McGregor losing, I don't think so. Is that fight going to be credible? I don't think it's going to fight McGregor. But who knows? It may even be McGregor. Maybe it's McGregor and I'm completely off the track. It might be McGregor. Do I think so? I don't. But who knows? Might be McGregor. And that's why I can't wait for him to announce and get back. I would love to see him back in the ring, Pacquiao, because like I said, I'm a massive fan. And I want to see him fight. I still think he's got something left. And it'll be exciting to see who he fights. From a personal point of view, right? If I'm honest with you, I'd rather see him fight McGregor or Khan. I'd rather, from a personal point of view, even though I think the McGregor fight, obviously, McGregor's not a boxer, but I just think the hype and everything around it, and the buzz, and the fact that I'm British, I would love to see the Khan fight, and obviously I'm from the same background. Love to see him. He's been wanting that fight for so many years, so I would love to see him get that fight. It would be great if he can, finally get that fight that he's been wanting for so many years, right? For some reason, I don't know why Manny and Floyd the fights didn't happen with him. I don't know why. Even though even 5-6 years ago, he was a credible opponent for both guys. He was a guy that was seen as a big money fight for both guys. It would have been a huge fight, a huge payday for both guys as well. Especially when you think of some of the guys that they fought, like Manny fought Horn, he fought Vargas, he fought Bradley for the 3rd time. He fought a lot of guys. When you think that the Khan fight would have been way bigger than some of the fights that he had. And same with Floyd. He fought Berto, he fought Guerrero, he fought Maidana. Like, you think the Khan fight was way bigger financially for those. So I don't understand why it never happened. But I would love to see it. I would love to see the McGregor fight. And I know. Here's the thing, right? The Mikey Garcia fight wouldn't be a big, like, Mikey's not a champion. And I think Mikey Garcia's credibility after the Spence lot, even though I think it was wrong, I think his stock and credibility has been hit for some reason. I don't know why. People just don't view Mikey Garcia as the same Mikey Garcia. And the fact that he's been so inactive and then he's ballooned up so much in weight, I think his stock has taken somewhat of a hit now. I don't think people view Mikey the way they viewed him after the Spence fight. Unfortunately, I don't know why. So that's why, again, I don't know whether that fight would really go down well with the fans. From a financial point of view, I do think Pacquiao could make a lot of money fighting Khan, and it's a fight where he'd be a huge favorite to win. The McGregor fight's not a fight, but it'd be a huge payday. And just the hype, everything around it, I would love to see that as well. So personally, from a selfish point of view, even though this might not be people's preference in terms of competitiveness, I would love to see him fight Khan or McGregor. Obviously, the Khan fight is a lot more competitive than the McGregor fight. You know, McGregor's not a fighter, not a boxer. He's a fighter, he's just not a boxer. The Khan fight would obviously be more competitive, but the McGregor fight would probably be more money. And, you know, that's what it might come down to, right? Because if we're putting McGregor aside, right, who's Manny Pacquiao going to fight if you exclude Crawford and Spence? Think about it. Who could he fight? The names that I'm pointing out, like Garcia, Khan, and Mikey Garcia, they're really the only names, really, that are coming to mind that could make some money, that could be big enough. And again, like I said, I do question how big the Mikey Garcia fight would be financially. I don't know how big it would be. And then they're talking about an exhibition, which I wouldn't be interested in at all. If Manny's going to fight Mikey Garcia, it needs to be a proper fight. And even with Khan, if he's going to fight, I don't want to see no exhibition. That's not, that didn't, I would have preferred to see Mike Tyson v. Roy Jones, an actual fight rather than an exhibition. It would have been good to see them actually have a proper fight. So let's see, man. I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen. Manny Pacquiao saying he's gonna announce his opponent. Let's hope that. A lot of people somewhat think it's either going to be Spence or Crawford. I saw a lot of people on his Twitter, oh, he's going to be fighting this man, he's going to be fighting Crawford. He's not. I can't see him fighting Crawford or Spence. Listen, if I'm wrong, I'll hold my hand up and say, you know what, wow. And I'd actually be excited. Reason why I'm not talking about Spence or Crawford, even though I would be way more excited than the other names that I mentioned, McGregor, Khan, and all the other names, I'll be way more excited. Right? When I say McGregor or Khan, I'm saying it from a selfish point of view. But from a boxing point of view, I'd be really excited if he fights Spence or Crawford. I would, but I just don't see it happening. That's why I'm not getting excited about it, because I don't see him fighting Spence or Crawford next after 2 years out, almost 2 years out the ring. Do you really think he's going to come back and fight Spence? Let's be realistic, he's not. He's not. So then I'm looking at all the other options. And the boxing options would be Garcia, Khan. And then the other option would only be McGregor. But now, after McGregor taking that loss against Poirier, is there any mileage left in that? Is there any financial mileage left in that? Maybe. I don't know. Possibly. But we'll have to wait and see. Listen, Manny Pacquiao always keeps us waiting. I just want to see him announce the opponent and get back in the ring, because he's really old. Manny Pacquiao's getting old now. And for him being out the ring that long, it's not good. It's not good for somebody at his age being that inactive. When you get older like that, right, it gets difficult. Taking long layoffs like that is not good. Especially if you want to fight, especially if he wants to fight at a high level. It's not, for me, it's I think it gets harder. The longer layoffs you take as you get older, the harder it gets. The harder it gets to get back in the ring and be at top notch. Because firstly, you're older, right? So your reflexes, your speed, everything's going to slow down anyway. Mother Nature is taking its course. And then even a young man, right? If he's out the ring for a very long time, sometimes he looks rusty, he looks off. His timing's not there. And for an older fighter, it's going to be even worse, because you're going to be a lot slower than usual. Your reflexes are going to be slowing down because you're old, right? And then you're being rusty because you haven't been fighting. So an older fighter needs to stay active. and not crazy, like not fighting 3-4 times a year, because that's gonna burn you out at that age. But fighting regular enough where you're active. Manny Pacquiao's not been active ever since he fought Keith Thurman's not fought, and that was what, in 2019. Like, Manny Pacquiao's gonna probably be out the ring for about 2 years when he gets back in. That is a long time, right? So let's see what he decides to do. Let's hope we're all excited with whoever he decides to pick. I don't think it's going to be Spencer Crawford, so I wouldn't get your hopes up for those two fights. I don't think he's going to fight either one of them next. I think if he was, I think we would have got an inkling about it, or we would have got some kind of whisper, rumor prior to him, picking those two guys. I think this is going to be one that probably comes out of nowhere and probably surprises us, and that's why I think it could potentially be the names that I've mentioned. I think, I also think it's going to be in the Middle East. I think Manny Pacquiao's probably going to fight in the Middle East. I think so. But let's see, man. Let's see. Leave your thoughts. Let me know what you think. Who do you want to see Manny Pacquiao fight? Who do you think he's going to fight after what I've just spoken about? Leave your thoughts. Let me know what you think. I'd love to know. And guys, make sure to smash that like button. It really helps my channel, really helps the algorithm. Join my Facebook group if you haven't done. Join my Facebook group. Follow me on Instagram. Follow me on Twitter. All the links are in the description. And guys, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.